Sounds good. I'm super excited to do this. I broke this down, and I'm going to start with number 5 for me. Hoist Gracie versus Ken Shamrock. The birth of the UFC and the birth of the first great rivalry the UFC has ever seen. They fought at UFC 1. Hoist Gracie beat him with a rear naked choke. They fought at UFC 5, the longest UFC fight in the history of the UFC, with 36 minutes, and it turned into a draw. And then in 2016, they fought, but nobody likes to talk about that. Number 4, GSP Matt Hughes. When GSP started in the UFC, he was a great fighter, faced Matt Hughes, who was, a huge name, and that was GSP's first loss. He later on would avenge that loss twice. However, that was the birth of a GOAT. I think that GSP loss really changed his trajectory of who he was going to become, and it really changed his work ethic as well. Number 3, Team Alpha Male versus TJ Dillashaw. There is still to this day no love. There is still to this day a lot of bad blood between them, and still a lot of uncharted territory with Uriah coming back, Cody talking about wanting Henry Cejudo. TJ, once he comes back from that suspension, he's going to 100% be a part of that grouping of guys.
I like that. I like how you said, what did you say, no love?
No love. There's still no love.
Hinting a little bit to the Cody Garbrandt.
There's still a little bit of Cody no love, yes.
I like it.
But not to mention, let's talk about how crazy this rivalry is. Conor McGregor in The Ultimate Fighter, when it was Uriah Faber and Conor McGregor, he called out TJ Dillashaw. He said, "You better watch out for that snake in the grass. He's that guy. He's going to stab all you guys in the back." And look what happened just a few months, maybe a year later.
You know on Fortnite or Call of Duty when you're in a battle and then someone who's completely not even involved comes over and starts shooting you? That's called getting third-partied.
Yes.
Team Alpha Male and TJ Dillashaw were third-partied by Conor McGregor, who just came in and stirred the pot. I'm sorry.
And I love it. No, you're great. Number 2, the first great rivalry for all MMA fans, 2 marketable guys, Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, from digging the grave and dragging the body, from best friends to training partners to absolute enemies, to one of the nastiest rivalries in the history of the sport. And number 1, Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen. This was the beginning of mainstream MMA. Chael and Silva hit the control towers of ESPN. Chael was on Jim Rome. He was on Dan Le Batard. Chael made the rivalry game great. He made trash talk great, and he would talk to reporters, deny things that he had openly said, tell them that he didn't say those things, which would have reporters up in a frenzy, trying to fact check themselves and trying to remember exactly what they said. And then, if we don't have Chael Sonnen, we don't get Bisping. We don't get Colby. We don't get Ronda. We don't get Conor. Those personalities don't happen without Chael Sonnen and the great rivalry that he created between him and Anderson Silva and the entire country of Brazil.